And now I'll welcome Dr. Indrish Bhatia. He is a consultant vitro-retina in Medanta Medicity Hospital, Gurugram, and he'll be talking about taking a corporate plunge.
Good morning, friends and colleagues. First of all, let me thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I'll be speaking about why take the corporate plunge in ophthalmology. So let me start with the basics. What is corporate practice? So a corporation is essentially a large business entity owned by a single or multiple shareholders and run by an elected board of directors. I've quoted some larger than life examples over here. There are separate divisions to manage different aspects of the organization. There's a finance division, there's a legal team, there are people to offer medical services. Plying your trade as a doctor in this setup is essentially what corporate practice means. So while preparing this talk, I came across something very interesting, the corporate practice of medicine doctrine. It is a doctrine that applies to the health system in the United States, where business corporations are essentially banned from providing medical services or hiring professionals to provide medical services. There are some exceptions. Some states allow this only if the management only consists of medical personnel. Others have strict laws to preserve doctors' autonomy. But the overwhelming sentiment over here is that a corporation is run like a business. It's a for-profit thing, whereas medicine cannot always be run like a business, and they believe that the two should not be allowed to merge. Now, in our country, we do not have any law regarding this, but the overwhelming public sentiment, public outlook of a corporate hospital or a corporation as a money-making organization is not far from the truth. So in this setting, with this kind of an image, why join something like this? Why take the corporate plunge? Turns out there are a number of unique, distinct advantages, value additions to your career, to your practice, and to your personality in general that stem from joining a corporate institution. Some of these may have already been covered in the previous talks because the domains are overlapping. So fresh out of residency training, you have all the skills required to succeed, but what you don't have is a base of patients. You have had patients in your training who vouched for you, who swore by you, but let's face it, the profile of those patients is different from the profile of patients who visit private institutions. You essentially have to start from zero, and this is where the brand value of the hospital comes into place. People are more likely to trust quality of services offered at a brand as compared to a random center. It's same for us. Suppose we are out in the market to buy a product, say a television. We are more likely to buy something from a known brand than some of the recent brands that have come up and flooded the online marketplaces. Then each corporate hospital has a loyal patient base, patients who have received excellent treatment in some other specialty like cardiology, for example, and they now swear by that hospital. They refer their relatives to that hospital. This is the base, the pool of patients that you can really tap into and make your own. So at the beginning of your practice, you get a steady flow of patients. Then getting equipments. Our specialty is the boon or the bane of our specialty that we are dependent on equipments, and they are really expensive. Now, getting equipments to ply your trade is much easier in a corporate center compared to another place. And another unique advantage is if you want to go really deep into your specialty. Like suppose you are a retina person and you want to start an active ROP treatment center. So the hospital has a pediatrics division. It has a neonatal ICU. You can come up with a plan to convince the management about the benefit of buying a red cam. They are likely to buy into it, especially if it makes good marketing sense. You can go really deep, as deep into your specialty as you like. Another unique advantage is inter-specialty referral. You can train fellows and residents in pediatrics to identify squints and refer them to your division. You can talk to rheumatologists. You have a rheumatologist the floor above. Suppose you are a uvea person and you need some opinion about a patient. You can take the lift, go to that floor, talk to them. A lot of external issues you do not have to think about. This is similar to what was just discussed previously. So issues like staff salaries, taxation issues that crop up if you're running your own center do not really apply here. You're free to practice, to start your practice, to grow your practice. There are a lot of learning opportunities, and learning applies to both the medical and the non-medical domains. So in your hospital, you may have a senior colleague who has spent all his life treating patients in private centers, and towards the fag end of his career, he has joined this institution. You have the opportunity to really pick up tricks of the trade from them. You can pick up practice-related tips, how to tackle difficult patients. There are multiple specialties and subspecialties. There are academic discussions there are formal academic discussions like inter-specialty grand rounds, like intra-specialty seminars that are organized quite frequently. So if you're somebody, if you're somebody who are looking to be in purely academics, this is not the place for you. But if you are someone who wants to continue your private practice but stay in touch with academics, this is really the place. And learning opportunities extend to non-medical domains. You get opportunities, you get to see firsthand how is the department of ophthalmology set up, how can you expand the department. Suppose the hospital you are is just starting into ophthalmology. You get to know things like how to purchase equipments, what needs to be purchased now, what are the essentials, what can be deferred for later. All these opportunities prepare you for a future where you may be potentially looking to start a practice of your own. Then you learn a lot of other aspects which you don't realize as such, things like diplomacy, learning to manage the management, things like teamwork, communication skills. Communication skills are the single most important thing after your academic and surgical prowess that is going to establish your practice. These are things you learn on a day-to-day basis, you pick up. You may not realize that, but it starts showing in your personality, in your outlook. People start observing those things in you. And you get wonderful opportunities to network. All of us know the advantage of networking. So you get to network with colleagues in your same department, colleagues in different departments. You get to network with MRs. Now these are one of the most resourceful people you will ever find. They are the people who can arrange stuff for you. They are people who know how to get things done. Having a good rapport with these people, and I was not paid to say this, having a good rapport with these people is always going to benefit you now and in the future. You can get opportunities to know about other professionals, optometrists, paramedical staff, without whom you cannot really run your practice. And more important than you knowing people, it is important that people know you, what kind of work you are doing, so that if some opportunity comes up in future, people know you are there to be contacted. Like for example, this talk here today. I got this talk through a very dear colleague of mine who was there with me earlier at the place I am working now. He's not working at that place now, but we continue to be very good friends. And you get really good opportunities to form lifelong personal and professional relationships with people. And then there are the obvious perks. Things like, okay. So moving on to the not so good aspects. Each hospital has its own set of cultures and rules. These might be things like dress codes, things like not using a lift at a particular time. They can get really nagging. Leave management gets difficult. There is potential, you get less job satisfaction. Every now and then you get this feeling that you are working for someone else. And then the opportunities of financial growth are limited. Well, this is how the powers that be decide how your salaries should be raised. And if you think this is unfair, try arguing with them for a raise. And moving on to some things that are really not so good, some things that may influence with your decision making. Now you may, and this does not apply to all institutions out there, but there may be some places which have targets. Targets are generally good, they help you achieve more, they help you be more focused, but inadvertently this sometimes may influence on decision making, and you have to be really strict with yourself. You have to draw the line somewhere. All in all, to summarize, I feel that this is a very good option immediately after completing your training. A lot of external issues get taken care of by people who are there to take care of the issues. You can learn about the non-medical aspects of the business in a controlled environment when it does not really, when it really is not a matter of life or death for you. You get to learn pearls from senior colleagues. You can continue for as long you want. You can leave when you want. But it's like an arranged marriage. Do your homework before you join the place. Know what you are getting into. Try never to get complacent. There may be a tendency to get in a comfort zone. Try not to be there. This is the worst thing you can do to yourself. And always develop a plan B and keep it ready.